Okay, are you ready for part 3? 16 NLP Presuppositions. Today we're talking about communication because you know what? Communication happens. Welcome to the Best Years Podcast. This is Dr. Darlene at whatstopsyou.com. Are you a teenager or a young parent, baby boomer, or in your golden years? The best years are now in each stage of development. So I've got power tools for you today that will help you make amazing changes so you can show up in the world with your amazingness. Let's review part 1 and 2, the presuppositions we've gone over in part 1 and part 2. So what they are is number 1 is behind every behavior is a positive intention. 2, everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they know. There is no such thing as failure, only feedback. Number 4, people always make the best choices available to them at the time. 5, we have all the resources we need. 6, the map is not the territory. And 7, anything is achievable if chunked down to small enough pieces. How did you do with those this week? Did you contemplate them, think about them? Did they help you in your life? Not all of these presuppositions are intuitive, so once you learn them, it's a little bit of a learning curve to look around the world and understand and question how that works, and you will find that they are true. If you have any comments, I'd love them in the feedback below, and let me know how it's working for you. So let's move on to presupposition number 8, and we'll do 9 and 10 as well today. So number 8. This is about communication. Communication is redundant. We are always communicating. Let's see. Communication is redundant. We are always communicating. Can you not communicate? He's not communicating to me. Well, yes, he is. He hasn't texted me back. He's not communicating. Well, not texting you back is a communication. It usually means no. It could mean they've lost their phone. You're not sure, so you should check it out. Yet there's always a communication of some sorts, at least some type of understanding or interpretation of such. So understand that you can't not communicate by just being quiet or holding still or not saying anything, because the communication is always going to happen. And that's just really cool. And there's nonverbal communication, which they say is 90-something%. Your head nod, the way you email, etc. Now you always need to check out your communication to make sure it's going across properly, and that would be my communication podcast. So make sure you check those out on how to communicate. But just know that communication is always happening even with your animals, in between animals. It's really cool to see how little ants communicate as they walk across a little sidewalk. So same with humans, is we're always communicating. So you may want to step back and notice your body language, your behavior, notice what you're doing and how you're doing, because there's definitely communication. And sometimes it's a energy vibe. In fact, it is always an energy vibe. We're just not aware of it. It's a vibration you emit when you're being, which is then communicating. In fact, you can think, I don't really like you, and smile to someone, say hi. Yet they can feel that vibe. And again, that's a whole nother podcast. Just know you're always communicating. Then number 9 presupposition goes along with this. Communication is the response you get. So you say to your friend, you look so good today in blue. And they look at you and they say, oh, so I didn't look good yesterday in pink? And you're like, oh my gosh. So then you need to say it again, because the response you got let you know the feedback of what you're communicating and how it worked and how it didn't. And that just didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to change that up. And then I say something else and it still didn't work. And then you say something else and then it still didn't work. And now it worked. So if I do it that way, then that works. So the presupposition is communication is the response you get. Interesting. You got to think about that for a minute. Is the response you were looking for? Is what you meant what was understood over there? We'll keep on trying if not. So that's one to think about. You may want to pause, rewind this, and think about it a little bit more. Something interesting. Yes, all of them are. Number 10, last one for today. We're just going to be short today. This one is well, this is pretty big. It's a whole podcast, as all of them are. This one says all symptoms are a communication about needed action. So symptoms, what does that mean? If you're sad, it's a communication that there's a needed action. You need serotonin. If you're hyper, you need to take a nap. If you're tired, you need to sleep. If you're hungry, gee, what communication is that when your stomach is growling? I'll have to go look that up. Oh, hey, I already know. When my stomach is growling, the communication is what? Feed me. What's a communication of thirst? Hydrate me. What's a communication of a backache? Now we're going deeper. There is a communication, and it's usually emotional. Sometimes it's structural or physical. It may be lay down and rest me. It may be build your muscles in your back. And it might be I'm feeling rejected. It might be I'm feeling unsupported. According to Louise Hay, the Bible in my view of my life, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. There's not a home in the world that shouldn't have this book. She is my model, my mentor. She's passed now. I love her work. I'm so grateful for it. She teaches that every physical communication has communication. Every physical symptom has communication. So the lower back, the communication is money. The bones are about basic support in life. The knees are about humility and kneeling and humility. The neck is about flexibility. The migraines are usually about overstimulation, thinking too much. It's so cool. You can just literally look up the glossary in your symptom and find out what the emotional component is. If this is new to you, you can hear my dog moaning in the background. My little German Shepherd's sleeping and he's having a nightmare. So that's what you might hear in the background, as usual. So what this is oogie boogie to some people. It's just normal to me. And when you can get in touch with that symptom and the communication, wow, does your body know everything. Remember, one of the presuppositions is we have all the resources we need. So your body knows what you need. We just don't know it yet. And I like to think of myself as the mediator between you and you. So your conscious and your unconscious mind are not communicating and you're not sure what's really going on underneath. So you come to me and I speak unconsciouses, and like that, I can help you say, okay, this is what the communication is of your unconscious. Boom. Not even through hypnosis. We can use that as well. But honestly, I can read unconscious ease. Your asymmetrical movements, your eye accesses, your breathing rate, the words you use that correlate with this or that, and find parts of you that are fighting with the other part of you to communicate deeper and understand the unconscious communication of the symptom. So again, this is another whole podcast about my podcast. I haven't done it yet. Will probably be called the mind-body connection. So the mind-body connection or the spirit-body connection and the mind, so that it's all one piece. It's like your mind, your body, and your spirit are in a blender and you blend it all. And so you're not sure which part is communicating. And when you can understand that part, then you can take the needed action. So I have people all the time come into me with physical ailments. They'll say, my stomach hurts and it's hurt for 10 years. Well, boom, I'm going to help you within 10 minutes figure that one out. It might be rejection. It might be fear. It might be this or that. And children, if they have a stomach ache and they don't want to go to school, well, guess what? Their stomach aches for a reason, an emotional reason. For sure, every time. Yes, there can be physical stuff, but the weakness allows the physical stuff to happen. So, yeah, there's a lot here. That's just the basic presupposition that all symptoms have a communication. So what I'm saying to you for this podcast at this level is be aware. What is my sore throat wanting to say to me? I got to be honest. Last Christmas, I'm admitting my stuff again. I had canker sores all down my throat. It was ending that weird relationship I keep talking about. and a little issue with a family member. And Louise Hay says when you have canker sores or cold sores, it's words that are unspoken that are festering. You think? And so I had festeringness. And I had to say, okay, what am I not speaking? What am I not saying? What am I feeling? And I thanked, this is the weird part to some, you thank your symptom. Thank you, sore throat. Thank you, cold sores. Thank you, canker sores. Thank you, sore shoulder, for what you're trying to communicate to me. And it is really amazing that your body it knows everything. It really, really does. And so it's about the presupposition and understanding that the symptoms do have a communication. And the next step is understanding what that communication is. And that can be a learning curve. And when you understand how to do it, it's really fast. So again, if I can help you personally, you can go on my website, schedule that private session, and I'll help you find out what that communication is of your symptom. Whatstopsyou.com, as you know. So thanks for listening, and we will talk soon, and we'll go through 3 more of the presuppositions. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to my channel so we can hang out. Also, go to whatstopsyou.com for notes to this podcast, more articles, and more tips so you can indeed live the best years of your life now.